I've always liked night shifts, or at least I used to. When the city fell asleep, the cold lights of the morgue used to draw me in. Solitude shaped the rhythm of the work, trapping the thoughts inside. I'd learned the silence of death. When a breath stops, something else in the room, some fragile presence, ceases to exist with it. You get used to that silence until it starts whispering things back at you. The building was old, forgotten in the back streets of the city center. The pipes hissed faintly. The tiles cracked now and then. Fatigue lived in every wall, every cabinet door. The power was unreliable. Sometimes only one light flickered. Sometimes the entire corridor went dark. When the generator kicked in, the echoes grew louder, and the shadows seemed longer, denser, until the next blackout came. There was no security that night. He'd been sick last week, got administrative leave. It was just me. Paperwork, labeling, keeping the death records. Midnight had long passed. There was no rain outside. Instead, the building groaned under the wind, its windows humming as if the outer world were exhaling anger into our sealed one. The first body was an old man. Heart attack, covered neatly in the cold room with a tag marked by number. During autopsy, I'd found a crushed black substance between his fingers, like soot, but darker, stickier. I drew a small line in my notes but didn't write it down in the file. Some details only tangle the mind, I thought. His clothes were clean, ordinary. From the outside, it looked like a regular death. I turned on the radio, but the static felt hollow. The calm voices of the news anchors never quite reached this far. The fluorescent light was sharp and cold. Every wrinkle and stitch became its own story. On the table corner sat an old coffee mug, chipped, rimmed with a blackish stain like dried soot. I didn't remember bringing it. In this building, other people's things sometimes appeared. A glove, a bag, a key. Who knew whose they were? As I checked the files, I felt something missing. Something outside the routine. The registry book was neat. Number, cause of death, receiver's signature. Usually, my initials filled that last part. But on a few lines, I saw another mark. The same letters, written in a strange variation. I noted it, but moved on. Still, while I checked the bodies through the night, the thought of that alien signature wouldn't leave my head. When I stepped out of the cold room, a weight settled on my temples. The corridor was long and narrow, its walls lined with faded photos and statistics. At the door lay a cardboard box. Old shipping labels clung to it, the logo of a courier company almost rubbed away. Inside were a few small tags, plastic bags, and a pair of surgical gloves. On one glove, a dark, sticky mark. I leaned closer. Not blood, not soot, but something colder. The air inside the box felt wrong, colder than the rest of the room. As the hours passed, my unease grew. Normally I enjoy solitude, but that night it felt like the shadows had made a pact. I checked the delivery logs. Bodies usually came from hospitals or police stations. But 2 recent entries had no names in the delivered by column. Instead, a scribbled code, KG. I couldn't place it. Most people signed with their full names. I erased it, rewrote it. My hand was trembling. At some point, I heard a rustle at the door. I looked up. The long corridor was dim, shadows twitching along its edges. Through the glass slit, I saw a van, pale white, its logo barely visible under the flickering light. No one was there, but on the ground beside it lay a cardboard sheet with the same courier logo. The pieces aligned in my mind: the box, the gloves, the van, but I couldn't find reason in them. A cold draft licked my face as I returned. The morgue door slammed shut behind me. My pulse raced. Back in the room, one of the tags had shifted. A small thing, maybe just the air, yet its edge was scorched. The faint smell of burning lingered. The cover on the autopsy table bore the same mark, a corner charred. Something inside me clicked wrong. I checked every cabinet with my flashlight. Between metal shelves lay a small bag filled with specimen pouches, one missing. In its place, tucked into the lining, a torn scrap of paper. The handwriting almost gone, but one word legible: hide. My chest tightened. Who was hiding what? I found more traces as the night went on. Behind a cabinet in the cold room, a piece of clothing, stained with the same dark residue. In its pocket, an ID badge. No name, only KG and a number. That's when I remembered the initials from the registry. My fingertips went numb. My breath caught. I couldn't think straight. The fragments fit together in one horrifying picture. Someone was hunting people, then bringing the bodies here to us. My stomach twisted. My mind rebelled. Someone among us. Impossible, I told myself. That kind of thing only happens in movies. But the note, hide, the gloves, the van, they were parts of the same design. Despite the silence, something had shifted. There was rhythm now, uneven but repeating. A van near midnight, a pause at the door, a box left behind. Departure. I checked the security feed. Only fragments, blurred footage, the license plate unreadable. Yet in one frame, a shadow stepped out of the van, leaving the box, broad shoulders. A gait I almost recognized but couldn't place. Fear burned quietly inside me. I forced myself to keep working, filling reports, labeling, wheeling bodies back into the cold. Still, every sound inflated, every shadow grew teeth. The radio cut to static, then died entirely. The air thickened. Something heavy, present was nearby. My eyes drifted to the registry again. A new number added 343. Underneath, a small, neat note, kept in cold. And next to it, the same initials, KG. My throat closed. I swore I heard footsteps circling me. The corridor was empty. But beside the radio, that old coffee mug was full, steam rising. The marks on the rim looked like the faint imprint of teeth. Whose coffee was that? Something slid from under the desk, a cardboard envelope spilling photographs. A van, a parking lot, stills from a night camera. One photo clear enough to see. A van door opening, a hand reaching out, gloved, smeared with the same black substance. The prints on the glove faint but visible. On the back, a note, handwriting painfully familiar. I'd seen it every day, in forms and labels. But the mind lies to protect itself. It hides what it already knows. The lights flickered. The generator groaned. Darkness swallowed the room. My flashlight trembled in my hand, barely alive. A ringing filled my ears. Someone was watching. I turned. A shadow moved behind the locker. I rushed forward, pulled the door, nothing but an empty space. On the floor lay a new tag, 344. No note, just a faint, icy stain. By morning, everything looked absurdly normal. My desk was tidy, my chest still ached. Security came, checked the cameras. The footage showed a man arriving in a van, leaving a box, entering the building, then exiting through our door. His face was blurred, But the walk, I knew that walk. Security chuckled. Guy stood too close to the lens. Was he joking? That afternoon, by the locker room, we found another note, scrawled handwriting. I knew him. I always saw him, but I never told. You wouldn't have believed me, no signature. Since that night, I made a different kind of pact with the shadows. To stay awake, to watch, to record every sound, every tag. But I'd made a decision. If something happens again, I'll know. Sometimes knowing and saying nothing tears your conscience more than the truth ever could. And sometimes, when the one you suspect is beside you, the weight of that truth becomes unbearable. Later, flipping through the final page of the registry, I saw the handwriting again, the sharp, angled letters, the same that carved their way into the margin, the same slope, the same rhythm, even the bite marks on the mug rim matched. For a moment, everything aligned, then blurred again. The truth is like fog in the morning. It never disappears, only changes shape. When the shift ended, I stepped outside, opened the door, looked at the lot. No van, but a fresh tire mark traced the wet pavement. Next to it, a used coffee filter, a piece of paper stuck to it. A note. Hide. I bent down, and my fingers brushed something cold. A blank tag. No name, only one letter. K. As I walked away, the door behind me clicked shut. From far away, I thought I heard laughter. Short, cold, familiar. Too familiar. The next morning, there was a new entry in the logbook. Number 343. Status: kept in cold. Beneath it, a small symbol, the faint logo of that same delivery company. And scratched into the page's edge, one thin letter, curved by a hand I knew too well. No name. Not yet.